And once more, facing off against each other.
As maps seem rough, do you think it's still recoverable? Oh, for sure, dude. Might have to win this one, though.
Yes, going to be catching some bit of damage.
Although the reverse sweep storyline is always pretty fun. Sentinels on defense, G2 on attack, 2-0 on the pistols. Let's see if Sentinel can start winning some pistols. That'll help.
Their game plan this time might be to try and apply pressure to Zelsys. We've seen quite a few teams run that kind of strategy against Sentinels on split.
Walking all the way up, though. That's okay. Acknowledgement of a bit.
Oh, that's...
Still second!
I mean...
Goodness me. Rapid fire with a ghost in hand. He's just seen a shoulder, might be hunting for a little bit more. 3 in a round for him. Can he get the 4? TP's back to safety.
Discipline as well. I thought we were gonna go hunting here.
And when you have a player that's on form like this, white hot to begin the map, why wouldn't you want to fight? He looks super confident, utilizing Zelsys as bait, and put Valen and Jonah P.
Another ace potential, yeah, good potential.
Yeah. Walking but spotted. Just to the side here and a flash and a repeat.
Oh, he would have had it.
You're gonna steal his
He would have had it.
Zekken could have had a second ace of the series already, and Narrate just swings in and cleans it up. Fair enough. Okay, don't give him a chance at 1v5 in you.
And the firepower, it's never been in doubt, I think, with this Sentinels team, as we were kind of mentioning. Gets them up to the pistol round win. Very important, I think, to have a strong start.
Well, of course, they lost both pistols on Haven.
Yeah.
It was 13-9.
Come on, boys, come on. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
He's not even mad about losing the ace. He's locked in. They might have thought that G2
Outlaw,
this.
Outlaw, Judge,
no
Stinger,
no
Bucky.
kills.
Sorry.
They don't really have the money to go for it. So SEN, they full buy up as much as they can, just in case.
Not the best retake guns for B if Bang does go down.
Salvos. The stun does force at least the TP back out, but Narrator's just going to be trying to hold down that line, but cleans up in the air.
This might get a little weird.
Might have just dropped down.
Where are the other players playing inside with Narrate?
Yeah. Okay. A bit fearfully, I think, as well, with that aftershot.
They don't have the best retake guns.
Now doubled up, grouped up, bit of stray spam,
a push
but right click jumping in your face, classic,
nice.
And that's going to be gun
They get Stinger, they get out of there, still has drone, probably not going to feel comfortable to use it. Gun down over towards heaven, never going to get there.
Sentinel's the ones that slowed down here because this retake is just occurring and the guns are not exactly the weapons of choice.
Yeah, they're really not good for retake, these guns.
Over towards the top though,
I don't like this buy. I don't like this buy. I looked at the mini-map when they were going over towards B thinking, man, if Bang goes down here, they're just so done. Dude, they didn't even force into this. Yeah.
I mean, talk about just flipping expectations on his head, I think.
Dude, we had a strict rule. I'm the biggest Judge believer, but never buy Judge second round.
G2 would go for the force.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you expect that? They've been doing it all stage long, all year long.
Well, it turns out
we had a rule that you couldn't.
Apparently. Now, I think a lot of people are going to look at this round and point at Narrate as being the player that made the mistake by playing on site when the rest of his team fell off. But I'd like them to do the opposite. I'd like Bang to be actually getting through that smoke and fighting with Narrate. I'd like some of the players in Heaven, like Zelsys, to be swinging out rafters and fighting with
Was it all
Narrate.
classics? There was one Sheriff.
You can't play retake all the time against G2. They've already proven that in the last time you played against them. So get out there and scrap with Narrate, who clearly wanted to fight.
That early momentum, though, it's going to be gone. Taken away. Wind out of the sails here for Sentinels.
Yeah, this is a devastating beginning. And once more, you know, the hard work of Zekken, he's going to be looking at it like, what more do I have to do, guys?
Yeah.
Empty side on this one as well. They're going to start getting those ults online early.
Everybody on G2. So
keep an eye on who cleans up the ecos here. There's no way Zek can use this as ult.
It shouldn't, but that's what we said about G2 in the previous round, so who knows?
Save from Prior. We'll see, though. Might be offered a few targets. Still, the trouble is, like you mentioned, that's full armor, so 10 HP, survived. That's going to be a bit battered and bruised, but he's still alive for now, and extra body could make a massive difference with the Salvo still alive. He's going to be using them preemptively. He's trying to slow down Sentinels here. They want to try and flood in themselves. Difficulties. Not really too many safe places to stand against it, but already vacuuming it up in terms of that space, and the time is ticking already with his spike. Good luck getting chances into this. At this point, G2 just looking to try and at least get out with the rifles and the guns into their hands. Not the chance of one of them,
but trying to get some extra ones. Very, very nice.
They do, and Celsius even
very,
just
very
barely
nice
getting onto that one, so he does
main
go
guns
down
into it. Jonah has so much money.
Trent saving a stinger there. Not what he's looking for, and goes for the upgrade. But G2 can afford to do that because they're wealthy. Zelsis, a bit of a...
Should you pause 10 in...
Consolation prize, really. Yeah.
Pause 10 in the scrims to break momentum?
But at the time, I mean, Sen were kind of getting battered, so I didn't want to bring it
doesn't
up.
matter
Yeah, it
about...
didn't seem particularly relevant on a
In scrims, you don't care about enemy teams having momentum. You're probably pausing to, like,
They've got to make sure that this
make
half doesn't slip away
adjustments and
from them
talk
as
about
well,
stuff
because
that's
they
going
started it
on.
Brilliantly.
Yeah.
It's been a microcosm of the first map. A white hot beginning, and then G2 take it away. Second with an ultimate. There's a set play that a lot of teams go for, where they Euro ult out A at the start of the round with a paranoia. That's why you see Jorgamo here.
If anything, it's nice when teams have momentum against you and Prague actually get used to it.
Bang really holding his ground as well, not giving up that space. That's bold, brave from him. And gives them decent info that G2 weren't really trying to take B main there.
What does P10 mean? Yeah, he paused at 10 on the timer.
In terms of having util to refight. Feeling like he had safety. Oh, just about missed the timing on that one. Second, he's going for seconds.
Of course he is.
Holding down towards Vents here. Drop down at turn. Just a few kneecaps is all it takes here. Chopped straight down. John QT's there. Salvos. Jonah isolated ever so slightly, but he's got back
Great stun from Giant, did really good.
They do end A. Second spin.
Nice shot.
Deadly in this anchor position. He catches Jonah P. That spike dropped, and he still has a flash to play around.
Tiniest of angles to really work with.
30 seconds
Being played around here. These are Sentinels players hard anchoring onto the site in a position here with a drone out wide. You've got to know exactly where they might be laying here with the stun. It's good. Right
Whoa.
to the side, Trent.
My God,
Getting away
23.
with
Dude, he
bloody
actually
murder.
might have got the double
Corner.
there.
That's
There's
John.
no
Yeah,
way
that
they win
fire
this though,
damage
right?
hooked him up. Bit of running gunning still
Dude,
to
even the
3v3
stun from the
situation.
rate was
G2
incredible.
at least getting themselves into the post plan, but more needs to be done by Leaf. Already wrapping, and it's a fast play by Sentinels. They're not
Wait,
messing
they're not
around.
considering the wrap heaven
Trying to play this one a bit more loose.
because of the
Love
plan?
smoke on site from Valin.
Wait, they think they're
Door
both
to the main.
sight.
Snake bites.
Oh,
walking through
Valen,
This
that's
is so
bold,
damn
dudes. They're not even going to
unexpected.
expect it.
Isn't even
Holy.
necessary.
They didn't consider
Leaf
main.
Clean them all up. Instinctual plays all around. It doesn't matter that you put this G2 team in a disadvantage.
Oh boy, it's
They
3v5.
weasel their way out.
And you
Dude,
just
thank
heard
God I
that
didn't say what I was
Celsius hit 15
going to
under
say.
kills.
I was going
Valid
to talk
in that
about
round
Sentinels trying to
was
keep this one
also
clean for their
doing
money because they have to
everything
eco if they
required to be
lose
able
it.
to pull off a clutch.
But then I was like,
Had
I'm not going to
support
talk
from
about
Leaf
it
as well,
because
but I
if they
love the way
lose the
that he played around
3v5,
this.
everyone in chat's going to blame me.
Nice call, Jonah. Go,
It happens anyway.
Jonah there with some kind of call. Might have been the pivot to go over towards A. Could have been something around how they wanted to play the clutch. But either way, giving credit to Jonah for that. Bang has been throwing this early smoke
They
over
look
towards B main.
lost.
It does feel like a
They
major strategy of Sentinels
are
is to
definitely
control over
messing
towards
up.
the side of the map.
Yeah.
Force a bit of utility out of G2 early. SEN have a trap play in mid. They're hoping to find a timing. Maybe off the back of Trent's drone, possibly even the salvos that often come through to vent, and then stun, and then spring.
Cheeky idea, but Jorgen was going to be the one taking that contact. He does have a get out of jail card, flash, peek, and a swing. The guns are just a bit too weak, really, for too much damage to be done there by Sentinels, but a neat idea. Doesn't really come to fruition too much.
And even that gate crash that you were mentioning, Jorgamo doesn't even bother with it because they have 3 players there looking to try to punish the trap. John, though, with a nice read and anticipation of where Valin is going to end.
Great gamble. Wild curtain drops, though, unexpected with the timing. Zekken caught, counted down by the ankles in that spot.
Oh,
Still
my ult's good
quite
to
swing
spawn
and face
number
out
on
here
site
with
as
Polo
well.
to try and supplement John. Onto
They're
the
like
corner.
they're like
It's offloaded
solo
all sorts of
swinging.
missiles, trying to slow down this approach by G2. There's 25 seconds left. There is still danger. Rolling Thunder has to be committed. G2 trying to navigate this spot nicely. Hearing that drop down though, the spam is just to try and deny. Zelsis. It's 2 nice ones. Need a bit more time of the essence still.
The time's super low. That's unlucky and so doable.
And John QT is denied that
It was a
last
nice
ditch
eco in the end.
attempt.
Some lovely shots.
If there was another couple of bullets in the stinger, I think John would have had that. Oh. Jonah was the spike deliverer. He almost got caught in the choke. It's an eco round that G2 navigate really well, and yet the shots coming out from Zelsis nearly made it winnable. But Leaf, with 10 seconds on the clock, swings out to make sure that Jonah can plant.
Yeah.
Wait, are they all doing it?
A timeout here for Sentinels.
They all doing the bit?
It's now been 4 rounds in a row. And G2 They are still looking as dominant as the last time they played Split against SEN, but in different ways. SEN are actually trying to fight them. They're not just playing off-site retakes and allowing G2 all the control in the world. They're trying to fight them.
What's the bet? It's on Reddit. It was like
main control 2 with a one-way, forcing them to use util.
what was it fully? It was Trent taking the mick out of Verno.
And G2 are still being able to get
Of him saying you like that play to cause a Cortesia.
I think, but you wouldn't know it from looking at the score. And it's
No,
difficult
everyone's
playing
saying
against
you like
opponents.
that play.
This is their 4th time meeting G2 just this year. And Sentinels
Play
are
Dark
only
Souls
time that they
3.
beat
Guys,
G2
stop
in
asking me to play
VCT
single player games.
was in that upper bracket
Not gonna happen.
semi-final that we just watched recently.
As we were talking about prior, Valen earned himself up as well to a nice milestone.
In a huge round for him, too.
But guns in the hands of these Sentinels players. This is the time to strike while the iron's hot, and if you can stem the bleeding, even better. Different util being used here by Sen to try and control B main, but flash through and G2 unscathed.
But at least you get the good
Okay, another big
notification
rounds.
B main control.
Looking like we
That
have
flash
just a
tells
straight
you
up B hit. We
the
got,
attackers are there, rather than just allowing
I guess,
G2
two
to
people that
contact
can't buy
take
next their money.
Through mid. Bang jiggling. It's going to be big exec lined up.
And Bang was phenomenal last time these two teams played. He's already been good individually on Haven.
No signs of life until now. Bang is going to be under a lot of scrutiny. Still with that paranoia is excellent.
It's a really nice Omen flash.
Brilliant with the util. So the rate making sure to follow up, but G2 not done yet, not done. But Country Mars still has a team flash.
Okay, very, very nice on this. They needed something like this. 3 people surviving as well. And I think their money's good enough to be able to tank another loss.
One after another in the choke point, stuffing G2 before they can even get started. That's how SEN got the win on Ascent previously. And this is a really nice strategic adjustment. Obviously, a fumble there from G2 as well, with how Jonah P's flash set Valen up.
Nice march. Let's go, boys.
But that is what you want to see. That's what they didn't quite execute properly in round 2.
That's what they needed.
Leaf forgot to buy armor.
Yeah, 2,700 in the bank. Sometimes it happens.
Keep an eye on that, see whether it's relevant in the round. Shows you that G2 may be a little scrambled after that.
It could be a costly mistake, especially if he squares up in a fight against Zekken here. Zekken, sole job trying to control the space, and sure that Leaf can lurk. Bullets.
Yeah, and this was what was going on last time we watched Sentinels play this, right? Zekken was just solo holding A the whole time.
Doesn't it? Adds up entirely, and well, he's taking a whole load of damage in the process. Zekken repositions. Gate crash. Second exit plan up towards the side, unanticipated with the angle.
It's rare that that gets punished these days, but it's nice spacing.
Really good support from G2.
Oh, Valen insta call on this one as well. Damn, look at him go. He's yapping.
1v1 fight, and then Valen swings around the corner to punish. It actually makes it much more difficult, I would say, for the defenders to hold on to this A ramp area.
Salvas forward here. John QT.
Great proactive
What was the
reclear from
plan?
John. He
Try
realizes that that's a fake.
one pass and fake over towards A if they go B.
Tempo's going to be turned right up with a snake bite, hopefully. Holding them back for now. It's essential that they hold on to control of B Heaven, because anchoring players onto B. This is going to be a tight squeeze indeed. Dropping down at that salvos. Good by Sentinels again.
Yeah, the salvo timing to make sure that no one could trade that was really nice.
I don't think there was really any
This
chance
is great timing from John
cracking
Salvas.
through B Heaven. John made the play.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a round with 3 surviving, round with 4 surviving. Money's great now. Looking over at G2, 2-4 loss bonus. Can't buy, can't buy.
They played some good rounds out the back of this tack timeout.
Yeah, they got low by this.
The time was low, only 35 seconds on the clock. G2 spending so much of it, just trying to set Leaf up to take a fight against Zekken.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Double stinger?
Bumming and ahhing around the map
Double
there.
stinger force,
Sentinels gonna be glad for
or
it, now just one round behind.
And this time, Valen doesn't even have the
Being
money
a
to go for
bulldog.
full armor. So you can argue about whether it even made the difference for Leaf in the brawl over towards A main in the prior round.
Dude, up against the ults
Sen are
as
gonna
well.
be feeling pretty happy about the fact that they've
Yeah,
got this
Sentinels
gap down to 1, and they still have breach.
pretty
table
decent
to be able to
position
work.
considering the start.
Gonna be comfortable playing a retake potentially with it. We'll see what a game plan looks like.
Well, the game plan here for
Salvo over towards mid, and I'm just watching Zalsis.
Send 4 next time. Why don't you?
How does this guy solo hold A so good?
Jorgamo, not the weapon potentially for the job, but still he gets it done with a stinger at hand. Easing into it. In through mid. And they've got it all on lock. Sentinels making sure that they leave no
Got a util dump him. Yeah, you actually just got a drone stun him.
See why G2's game plan would be. Let's try to target the weak area where Zekken's holding alone.
And he's not wrong, because you look at the last demo and he is just here. He's just in this box majority of the rounds, and it means they can play heavier over towards like mid and B obviously. But mate, when he does this every single time, what are you meant to do? What is that second kill?
G2 have lost all signs of control so far into this map. Last few rounds all going away as SEN. They've dragged it up even, 4-4.
To be honest, the last 2 rounds, they've tried to do just the same thing twice.
They had to bring 3 and it still didn't work.
That's what I'm saying, man. Next time, bring the whole stack. Zekken might get an ace. He's been incredible. He's at the top of the scoreboard again, 9 and 6. Arguably a slightly less
It's actually the time out to say, guys, we're going to util dump him.
I think in terms of it.
He's been amazing at the start of both of these.
Exactly.
We got to use the drone for A.
Once the gears really started turning for G2,
then you have a problem getting through middle, but I mean, you got Teo, man. Teo can force him.
But this half, Josh Art's
put him down. Dude, the problem with this is sometimes you can tunnel vision too much, and you just focus on trying to push him away from that angle, or like punish him from being close. That I don't know, if it goes wrong, you got no backup plan. You can have less util to take middle. They are going to go for him though. They're going to util dump him. They're actually sending 5. They're into the drone in this.
So fast A ramp takes are notoriously difficult against breach Taeho comps. They're going to go for it though, anticipating that.
Yeah, look at him ready for the stun. We're ready for the stun early.
There's a half by round here for G2.
Prius, man, stop sleeping. What are we doing? Get over here.
Throwing anything at the wall here. Valen, TP forwards. Already back up onto this line. Jump spot looking for the info. Zekken isolated into the corner. Salvos. He's going to make his position now all the more important. TP doesn't really know where Valen is playing forward. Still, he's going to get out of there. Side opened up, but as we've already mentioned, the use, well, at least the ults should be good, but a pit in your face.
This is a hard retake though, but as we can see on the minimap, probably too many over towards side for G2, so this is a nice ult, and John needs to kind of hold strong here so they don't take too much free map control. Yeah, this is good. He switched with Narrate.
Cleared out nice and pretty now towards the back. It's Zekken's turn. Ping's going to be highlighted.
That's a great tail.
Used Armageddon on either side here.
Oh my god, both of them are good.
This is going to be a bit chaotic on the side.
It's absolute chaos, man.
Salvos denying the defuse entirely, but swinging out through the back, and Trent left into the 1v1 ultimately. Time ticking, time ticking.
Holy, dude, they played this so well though. Dude, Trent's ult, Trent's counter ult was incredible as well.
When you give G2 a post plant. This is why we were talking about SEN need to be fighting them in the choke point. This time, G2, they barrel through with a huge amount more utility to push Zekken away. And once they get the site for free, it doesn't matter how good your retakes are. You're going into a pit, you're going into ultimates. And if Trent's the last one alive, you're going into salvos as well. It is so difficult to win clutches against Trent. And now G2 swap things up. They've been going towards A ramp for the last 3 rounds in a row. Now, the focus elsewhere. Back towards Celsius. And the resources have been pulled away from him.
Cutting through.
Same aftershock one way over towards B main, so G2 don't get that for free. But Leaf, you're imagining, is going to be playing this one passive. But just as I say that he's calling for reinforcements from the rest of the team. Valen is so determined to make A ramp a weakness.
Yeah.
But if you're not taking it quick with the breach utility,
well,
you're not just going to see the same thing.
Didn't win the round, so let's put him close again.
Okay.
Takes no bullets, he's going back. Surely he's going back for more.
Potentially taking up the space again. Still holding down his ground with a gate crash behind. Leaf was just trying to get set up. And as soon as he is,
it's ridiculous.
Strikes. And now all of that information.
I've never seen anyone do it as good as this.
They know that they're not ending A. It was Leaf alone. No trade came through. SEN can get ready for a B pop, a B split, something like that is almost certainly going to be happening.
Obviously calling it a little bit easier here. Drone, be careful. Broken. Jorg's not taking any chances. Salvo's over towards the top here with the paranoia. Lay it down. Alongside, it's going to be offloaded. Viper's Pit. It's going to be hiding now, blanketing the site ever so slightly.
I think I've ever seen it.
Time is of the essence.
I've ever seen a defensive Viper pit like this. Probably for good reason. Do they not just get ultimate space?
Jumping down and away, round to the side. Now Raid is handed. A multitude of kills, all to his liking, and poor Jonah P. Not much to do in this spot.
Yeah.
They challenged the pit and they lost. Some of those are just going to come down to timings. But
Yeah.
SEN,
Honestly, I think the only reason they would ever use this, I guess, is
they
because
knew what
time's
the protocol
low.
was going to be if they got pushed into a site. There, Zelsis was ready with the ultimate. And encompasses John QD and Narrate inside to play 3 strong in there. And in a round like this, yes, it ends with Zelsis' ult on B, but it starts with Zekken locking down a ramp again.
Yeah.
The only round where they've been able to stop him was when they went fast with utility towards him.
I'm getting a lot of word kills.
I'm finding it surprising as well.
they gotta go for him again, man. Get that util dump on him.
Still trying to brute force their way past Zekken.
Surely he gets punished here. Guys, please pre-stun this before you turn. Guys, pre-stun it.
Look at a draw there with the outlaw in hand. Sees the cross though with the bodies and knows that the fight's going to be coming hot, fast and heavy here, but already lead's going to be raining down and bodies toppling and falling in through the choke points. No real chance in hell now for G2.
And this wasn't even a stinger buy for G2. It was so much of an eco, but they only had the sheriffs to work with, so not even fast through the choke point. Much less sting, and Sentinels should be good here to get up to 6.
Disciplined, Zekken's holding it. John onto the corner.
Narrate has kept hold of this breach ultimate. We're about to go into the
Guys,
final round of the half.
you've either got to ignore him,
G2
go somewhere else, or pre-stun him.
running their heads into a bit of a brick wall.
He can't be playing this line this much when you got a
So
breach.
good. Apart from that one round, he's just had
Like, I
full
get that you want to
control
save
towards
it
A
for
ramp.
perfect info, but with how much he's dominating you, you have to use your stun early, eh?
Allen, at least for the moment, pulls his troops away from that A-ramp battle. They're not going to go fast in that direction.
Dude,
but
14 to 7. How many of these are
Setups at
first
least
bloods as well?
Very
A
consistent.
lot of them.
Take mid-control looks like.
So many first bloods.
Leaf changes where the orb is, so that's a nice adjustment. Makes it much more difficult for Zekken to play around while the rest of his team is in mid and B.
But dude, he's so fine playing against this. He's done it
Here's a
before.
test for you. Sidestepping most of it. He's got the smokes to try and play around. Stray bullets not catching on to him.
Like, I like the change up, but
Slow going for now for G2, but they are getting back control towards B main.
And 2 players from Sentinels have kind of been stuck defending a ramp because of this new orb placement. Now that there's a bit of a gap in mid as well, Zekken has to pull back, has to watch vents. Because Zelsis has let that slip, but SEN are doing a good job re-clearing.
Holding up that space here, but they have given up heavy control. This does put the Sentinels players in a bit of a spot.
Well,
squeeze.
They've got the breach ult though to relieve this
yeah, they
pressure.
don't actually have the best
Narrate's
setup
gotta
here,
be
and the
good with
breach
it.
ult
Behind most of
would
his team, though, he can't really use it to try and
team
reactively help them
ult
out.
to.
Jorgoy straight
Yeah,
in.
this
Goes
setup
into
is
the breach.
not
Round
good
to
for
the side, there
Sentinels
it is.
here.
Team started
They weren't in a good
action.
position to hold over
And John
towards
QD
heaven.
no long for the world. Narrate.
And then the breach, oh, this was a shocker from Sentinels. They've had a couple of shockers from their like actual setups. Round 2, round 12.
Now left. See what they can do. Quick play, flash through against this many players. Nigh impossible. 6 to 6. G2 really finding it tough, I think, to get through. A semblance of those rounds here, saved by the fact that they were able to get those openings.
SEN could have definitely set up a better triple setup on that B side to work around the breach ultimate.
Ah, yeah, it was
So
awful.
Zelsis, and John basically died before Narrate could get any value out of that.
It's a team stun.
Yeah,
He
lost the
landed
breach
next
on
to
his own
him.
teammate because the setup wasn't really there. But okay, an even half. Battle
Once
back
they
and
lose
forwards.
heaven,
And
yeah, once they
remember
lose
that this
heaven
is the
over
half
towards
where
B, it can be
SEN got
better.
dominated before. So getting
But
6 rounds is actually great for
The
them.
thing is,
It's so
it is a
rare
little.
that
I will
put
give
us
them a
back
little
in
bit of
multiple series.
bail on this. It is
now, we're
really
gonna find
hard
out
when
on the
you're
other
up
side of
against a
this just
tail
how
and you know
split
that you can't
goes.
go back towards back of sight, because that's what most teams rely on, right? They go like fully back of sight, but you gotta be proactive, man. Yeah, push B main. Yeah, exactly that. Put hands on it. you've got to push B main, or you got to have something better with the breach playing in a position to be able to ult with someone playing over towards heaven to capitalize off it. Maximus with the tier 1. Thank you for the 9 months, dude. Thank you, thank you.
Red Bull Zero is here. 100% wings with monk fruit extract.
This is still a good it's still a good demo of Sentinels to look at. Right? You can kind of look at this as 2 glaringly obvious rounds where like your B setup is a little bit off. But again, in my opinion, it's only like I don't think they'll have this issue against the Teo nerfs because they'll just go back a site. We're on pistol here, Sentinels, right? Yeah, yeah. At the second madness. Second had such a mad half here. Then they got ecoed, yeah. Do you think teams abandon Teo outright or work around the nerfs? Nah, they'll abandon it.
The reason they ended up losing Haven came down to the Battle of the Minds, to be honest. The IGLing Valen had John QT's number in terms of the calling. Sentinels finding their footing though this time on split. And honestly, Valen almost outcalling himself to a degree. They were absolutely tunnel visioned on trying to remove Zekin towards the tail end of that half. And so far for Sentinels, if they can keep this up, staying 1 step ahead of G2, that's where they'll find their first map win in this best of 5.
On the pistol, looks like Sentinels want to take some A ramp control really quickly.
Time to jump.
Can be dangerous doing this into breach Tejo, because that stun salvos
Flash
at the start of the round is always a possibility.
There's a stun, there's a TP, it's countered up, yeah. You
Oh.
see it re-cleared,
Uh-oh.
and Zekin has no get out here. Barely able to survive, not taking too much damage.
None, in fact.
And so here it is, double face stop clearance, that's good discipline.
Oh, that's an empty site.
Combining
Smoke used
forwards
over
now,
towards heaven.
paving a way to success, open access to the A site. Everything's going to be open though, so no safe plan.
2 person holding ramp as well.
And this is where you get to see if Sentinels can be perfect in these post-plant spots.
This is reactive, feeling the heat there from Leaf, and now he's going to be rejoined by the rest of his team, and you're right.
John is playing so safe for the salvos, which are back in 10 seconds.
Trying to drag this one out all the way forwards. A lot of util being expended out towards it, and John not even creeping around for the backstab. He wants to play just for the salvo timing, realizing that's the big advantage on top of the players that they've already taken out. Stun.
Very nice.
John
Double
swing.
pistols.
Finally, the time to strike is
Surely
there.
they don't get eco.
Pistol round. Earned up for Sentinels.
Surely. 2-0 both maps.
That's the kind of round that Valen was envisioning for quite a few of the ecos that he ran on the attack side, but it's John that pulls it out on the pistol, going for fast A ramp pressure, then back into sight. And Sentinels, a team that are known for their retakes on this map, played the post plant beautifully here.
Wow, they don't expect the tail to sit there.
He's commenting on it. The passive position. G2 were caught unaware here, and this is an aggro play by G2. Trying to get control towards B main, and he's
Oh, that's there's a nice little counter flash. Yeah, I like they had different G2 here. This was kind of nice though.
On a very fast timing behind them.
One
It's
goes
unlikely that
close,
that's gonna
2 hide
be too
flash,
much of a
and they
danger.
should have safety.
And
John's already
John,
watching.
I don't know if Bang was like
super aware.
actually
If we're talking about the
anti-flash or if he
battle
just
of
had good
the minds,
timing.
and who's
I
one
still like
step
the
ahead
idea
of
from
the
G2
other?
as well.
I mean, John just read that one. That's a fast play down mid in the first 30 seconds, first 20 seconds of the round. And he's on top of it. The more that he can anticipate what's going on, the better
he
Sentinels
definitely had
are
him.
going to look. Not necessarily snowballing into any massive ultimates, but being able to get a rifle on board here, they'll have a good bonus round buy.
Yeah, he's anti.
3 stingers, 2
Again, I think he's
phantoms.
just reloading maybe, but
You've got a fast round to pull out of the strat book now. Could be a great time to start rocking G2.
triple stinger.
This is the time to do it.
Yeah, the bonus is nice. Everyone's
G2
miles
go for
away
the
from
same
ults.
main control. So Sentinels were running a one-way and an aftershock at the start of the round. There's the one-way. Oh, not even. Just a smoke in the choke point.
Okay, Ali B
No
main
aftershock
control.
used, so
This is what
Sentinels
Imi
take
was
main
talking about on the desk, how
Bang
like
even
B main
teleporting into a spot
control
where the
is
aftershock would have
a
missed.
must
So that's nice. Bang's already wants to pay.
with this comp.
Ready to follow up on a moment's notice here with a drone broken. Sees the orb. Got to break that one, yeah. And suddenly, a lot of the bite taken out here. G2 not able to set themselves up. Or I should say Sentinels not able to set themselves up.
Yeah, not a fast play. I was expecting something a little quicker. Instead, familiar scenes, but the sides swapped. The Viper on the attack.
Let's think about it. B main control. You create the pressure of the double salvos back of sight, so you probably hold 3 here. Then once you do it, mid's weaker, so you can mid default.
Just up from B heaven.
And then you can split over towards A or hit B.
Looking for picks.
Yeah, you might be right.
Given a mid control in the process. 40 seconds left though for Sentinels.
Jorg forced off the line here a little bit.
Time might start to be a problem. Trent has have to give up most of control towards A heaven.
SEN have got a lot of room around the map.
Not a lot of time to work with though off the back of it, but they might have time for a pivot.
Oh, hold up.
Goes the way
It's
of
weird.
Jorg, which it does. He's already
It's a big kill from Valen. Has no idea about the B main because of the early B main pressure.
Down at the kneecaps. Paranoia
Oh,
weaves
shot.
in. Leap with the peak. It's ahead.
That one makes it easy.
Rolls. 2 players left now to do all they can. Sentinels with no real time to work with. 12 seconds. Creeping, crawling, walking around, but Zelsis needs to be covered into this spot, and the salvos, while no access whatsoever to a safe plant. Picked up by Zekin, but at this point, fool's errand to try and go for that one. Swarmed by G2.
Well handled there from G2, considering how much space they gave Sentinels through mid. It looked like SEN, even though they were down 4v5, could have created a lot of danger. But Valen cleans things up in his anchor spot on A. Now we get rifles on board, both teams. And SEN leaning over towards B main at the start of this round again.
Yeah, this is
It looks like
again the same thing we're talking about. Sentinels, B main control. If we have B main control, they get scared of the hit. Gotta put 3 here. So every single time they're defaulting over towards B until they kind of get punished. This is a good reclip from G2 though. Armor Flash goes in, smoke to make sure that no one can be, or no one's going to insta fast retake the space. And then they have 3 over towards middle, knowing that they're going to pivot back towards middle. They have 4 over towards middle. This is nice from G2. Dude, I love when we get like I love when we get mini-map games like this. It's sick. Dude, the 2 backed off. Did they tank the Orif? Wait, what flash was this?
Slowed down though, minute on the mark. Got to take that spike all the way back. And okay, evacuation.
What happens there?
You're going to be running into Jorgamo. He hears it.
Clone?
Splashing around towards sewers. Drone. Couldn't break it. Had to commit. Had to get all the way the hell back out of there. TP's forwards as well. Up onto the site.
I think Zelsis took 140 there.
Seconds anticipated with the pounding. Forwards down into hell.
Sometimes you gotta go for
Zelsis
it.
is the last one standing. They know exactly where he is.
Yeah, this was nice. G2 kind of won out on the mini map mini game.
Instead of playing offsite for the retake.
Yeah, I love this little B re-clear. They know with the smoke that they're gonna go take over towards the middle, have 4 past the middle. They got a little bit unlucky to eat that flash, and 2 of them were separated.
That they won that scrap in mid. I think they would have been expecting a slightly easier end to this round.
Maybe Sentinel sent it a little bit too much.
The score tied up 8-8. 100%.
Nice, boys! So predictable, bro.
I mean, honestly, they were all over them. They were actually all over them in the calling on this round.
G2 going to be giving you... Okay, well, pressure mounting here by Zekin. Dimensional drift.
Like they knew that they knew they were going for that mid reclip. Then it looked like they knew they were heading over towards A with the 2-person stack.
Okay, TP forwards, or at least a fast flank is called for. Not sure how Valen got there into the end, but it's a plan nevertheless.
Yeah, instant Omen ult from Valen gets over towards B main, so everyone makes a lot of sound. They might not expect him this early. Smoke's about to fade though.
Pulling back in away, G2 just trying to bleed Sentinels
out. Yeah, dude, they don't even expect him.
Util held and guns not on the ready here. Valen right from behind.
Really nice, lovely Omen ult. Lovely Omen ult. They had the smoke here as well to sell it.
Valen getting similar impact to the end of Haven on an individual level.
This is 2 back-to-back really good rounds from G2.
So far away from that B hit. I mean, he needed the rest of his team to control the map and make sure that they didn't lose the round before his flank could come through. And they gave him that time. They played with that patience. And he delivered for them with a 3K.
Nice, Jake! That down, boy.
Top of the scoreboard for Valen. Talking his talk. And a tactical timeout. It's normally Zelsis that we see standing up, throwing shade over to his opponents, playing the psychological
You
game.
think of the whole game's history, Omen has been the most consistently overpowered agent.
Get to, map 3, maybe even map 4 and 5 territory.
Yeah, probably.
At the moment, still in the early stages of this BO5. But you can see with rounds like that.
Yeah, maybe. The thing is, it depends, man. The beginning of the game was crazy. Like Jet was like the best agent for like 2 years.
Grip overall towards the tail end. The string of rounds being put together by G2.
Viper? No, Viper was awful for the
Looking
first.
for even more. That's what the timeout's for on Sentinels, to put a stop to it.
I talked about this earlier at the very beginning of Split, but G2 are so good at anticipating Sentinels' post-plant aggression. When Sen get into a site, they will try
Sova?
to
Yeah,
disrupt
Sova's
the
a good
retake
shout.
by, a variety of different tools, but a little push towards spawn with the breach utility. Or a
We always kind of spoke about it on the stream a little bit, that like, if they introduced Sova as like a new agent, we'd be like, what the hell, this is busted.
It ruined Sentinels.
You get a recon that can go anywhere on the map, your ult's incredible, your drone's good.
Kind of happened again.
The shocks used to do way more damage.
Leaf, you heard him say, way too predictable about the previous round.
A lot of respect shown here by Sentinels. Jorgamodo, operator in his hand.
Drone used to last longer, yeah, you're right.
It's a game of reactions. Game of not timing, just a shoulder or an elbow, barely peeking out. That's all he needed.
And
Drone immediately there.
Yeah, to try to
Man, now they stabilize with money.
G2
are
G2
are looking so nice.
Back up again. Pings as well.
It's set back up towards the angle. Surely with that drone we stun them.
Again, Jorg does not want to be caught out into the open as a TP bar. Studs Fang taking a bit of ramp control. Presence noted here by G2. They are reinforcing most of the map over towards the A side. Smoke drops. They're calling for the swing as that smoke does blossom and bloom. Jorgen was already found the one Armageddon. Trying to push them past, but locked down into the spot. Jorgen not to be denied. A chance. A bit of RG
fake TP in there as well.
Into the round now, and John QT is left to pick up those pieces. Upgrade found, but in a 1v3, what can you do? 20 seconds left, and this is the back end of the timeout. Sentinels just getting anticipated.
Wow, and he's going to make the difficult decision to
Raise your
stay
team.
in the spot.
G2 have got good reads at the moment, man.
Similar impact to
This prep
incredible
from
3K with the
G2
operator in his hands
is
though,
so
rather
good.
than a Vandal. But a very different way of getting that value. Instead of getting a crazy spray down alone, Jorgamo gets the first kill, backs up, gets supported by a teammate. Then he's posted up, has to teleport away, gets supported by teammates again for a triple swing. He swung into the site with his op at the same time as 2 players swung from screens. All of the players are focused on those screens players. And then he's able to take the peak again. So much teammate support and distraction there being given so that Jorg could get his ones.
There's frustration showing on the faces of these Sentinels players. You can't blame them because you can feel it. Losing grip of the map.
And so similar to Haven.
Okay, low buy Stingers are out install over towards middle. Change of position for Jorgen over towards Heaven here. And
it is so tough to run that reverse
Zelsis hasn't put his smoke down, so he can pretty much hold this on his own until this smoke gets
exactly. I was just talking to Valen
used.
Yesterday, in fact, about it.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're not
Are we
too
doing
worried
that on
about
purpose so
going up
that
against
it's a
double map
one-person
advantage.
hold
We
with
take
the
that
op
first
and then we
map.
can
Exactly what you were pointing
hit
out,
site
Josh,
or
is playing in the
something?
back of the heads of these players. You're thinking, where did it go wrong?
And that's a spot that G2 have been in a few times as well. G2, this is their 4th time attending an America's final. Back to back to back to back.
Jorg spotted, he hears it though. Jumping up towards ramp, it's going to be stun at least to relieve some of that pressure.
Okay, make sure they push back the 1 to make sure there's 2.
Know
that
only
one's going to
won
be,
one of
I
those,
mean,
by
you know
the
it's a
way.
2,
The most recent.
you know it's a 2-1-2 right now.
Lost 100
And
Thieves, lost to
your
Leviathan
ult goes
last year,
in
making
to
sure that they don't
clear the
lose
pressure
again.
of the smoke.
Well, defend this one, they don't know where the TP is, but finally,
Omen
okay,
gets
set your
hard
sights
back
onto
of
it,
sight.
Valen. He knows where this one's coming. Anchor Smoke's going to be laid it down on top of it, double TP. to the back. That's
Did they both,
paranoia. Should be a connection onto a
two people
multitude of
tanked an
them.
Omen
Just a
flash
clone,
with 2
but not
people
gonna be
hitting an
faked out
Omen
for too
flash.
much longer.
25 seconds on this.
left.
Yeah,
Sen,
dude, this is
call for the
weird.
pause. tempering the moment for just a bit.
But there's so many defenders here.
Here it is, Util in their hands. Smoke's dropped down.
Viper Smoke kind of gave him a little bit of space. I get the idea though. You want to have stingers, so you want to be that little bit closer. But then that smoke's not on heaven, so.
SEN just got penned in a corner, herded into the back of the B site, and everybody on G2 waiting for them to make that move. They're 2 steps ahead. 5 rounds in a row. And Valen individually is having a great game. He found so much impact.
We're bouncing on each other.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Of course, I mean, they're playing off each other.
They're playing off each other so well. One person pings and the other person bombs.
Exactly. That's what they meant. That's what they meant. Don't get any funny ideas.
No, Mr. John Hyatt. Teleport up for some early vent control from Sentinels here. Looking to try to take some skirmishes rather than just end in a massive execute, because G2 have always had the read. And they haven't really been doing much of a pinch onto A ramp. This could be nice pressure onto Trent. But second...
There is something I've noticed with Sentinels. When they get...
Do you have anything to get out of here? Yeah, the gate crushes there. Second, barely.
Wait, when they get punished somewhere,
last possible moment, dramatic effect and all,
they really
a bit more than that now.
feel like they can't go there again.
Seconds there alongside it. Taking damage into the process. What's the next level to it? Timing taken, slipping past it, in through the smoke, and 200 piece, eager to just try and drop down, is punished.
Good trade.
Sentinels though, time to shine for them. Rolling Thunder.
Okay, it happened on that Ascent game where they got punished over towards middle and they never tried to go deep mid to break the Vice wall. Kind of happened here on the B main as well. Got punished over towards B main and didn't really go there again, like beginning of the round. Completely changed their default. Is this doable?
All down to Jorg now, retake with the op. And Zelsis, cheeky with the off angle. Yeah, that's going to get the job done.
Much better round from Sentinels.
They got to get 2 in a row.
They were able to generate picks before they hit the site by fighting for B heaven control.
The tail nerf will hit G2 hard. Oh, for sure. I kind of think they have to win this final to do good in... Or not to do good in Toronto, but like if they want to win Toronto, they have to win this. I think they need that extra 2 weeks.
Leaf decided to hold his ground.
So they got to revamp every map.
Got the opener, and then the trade out from Bang, that 1-2 combo that we've been seeing from Zekken and Bang, coming together nicely. Jorg is going to pick up another op, so pretty similar scenes again. And Sentinels want to start towards A-Ramp, want to start putting the pressure onto him early.
Might be meeting a lot of them again. The drone causes issues this time.
Leg shot.
Oh my! Leg shot.
Nicely done. Oh boy, they have to win this one. Let's build it up a little bit because their money after this, they are so done. They'll literally get 2 good guns and then everything else is just going to be Sheriff armor, maybe Stinger light armor.
Suppressed, traded.
Just takes the risk, stands his ground.
And rewarded for it. Zelsis, though, has actually got himself into a decent position here. Now, of course, Jorgamo's on the other side of this.
Trent? Yeah, I mean, Trent will just go server for a lot of maps, yeah. But it still doesn't defeat the overall fact that they have to, like, change on every map.
Turn a 4v5 in your favor. But it's another first pick that goes against Sentinels.
Omen ult to get info. Okay, he decided to shoot it instead of hiding, which...
But this is kind of nice.
Might not have been the best decision.
It's allowed them to come back to Zelsis, and the pit could yet be SEN's favor.
30 seconds though.
30 seconds left.
Dude, they had 3 passing here. They went to go re-clear B. They would have perfect timing.
Slows them down. Salvos trying to be used here. SEN, RB,
yeah,
and slow
I think they're messing up a little bit.
Jorgamo's
playing. Jorgamo's playing the weirdest game right now.
Back pocket. There's another one for you. Stun forwards and whipping, hopping all around. You're gonna be meeting your match into the blender.
Okay, yeah, dude. I think Sentinels messed up here.
The stuns were
There's 3 behind this wall. Omen ult goes in. They could easily just give him fake info. It's just an info ult. And I think it was Bang faced and shot it. I'm not entirely sure. Whereas like they would have had a weak sight, they could have just hit. Like that's surely what they wanted.
But on the previous map, first kills, 15 of them to G2, only 7 for Sentinels. So G2 are finding so many
And
of these
Juggernaut did
opening
incredible.
kills that make it
This
really
was
tough for SEN.
a
the
lovely
score 12 to
start
9.
over towards
G2
Heaven
with
to
three
buy in time as
opportunities
well
to
to give him
finish
freedom
just
to
like on
peek us.
Haven. It's been
3 chances for
exact mirror of the
G2,
first
and
map.
like we said, this buy
Wants to increase that
is
tempo though here with a dimensional
rough.
drift, pings it out where the players could be. Jogamo
That's a free side though.
forced back out of the fight. Happy to play the retake though. There's G2, especially with that rolling thunder forwards in their back pocket. Pit though might cause difficulties. Slow down for now here, but the salvos, Paranoia. It's going to be pulled out. Sentinels trying to set themselves up nicely into this one. Random spam! That's the one player that could not go down with it. The pit dropped down. And Sentinels left lacking. That's
good
for
ult.
air here. G2
That's a good
just
ult.
dominant!
Holy man. Dude, every
We
single
thought
time their
G2
second half
were
is
in
really
survival mode in
impressive.
the lower bracket. They
Back-to-back
barely
maps now.
squeaked past some of the teams, 100 Thieves, EG. And they got a rematch here with
Double
Sentinels,
pistol.
and they've come out all guns blazing.
Sentinels had double
And
pistol here as well. They
2-0
got
lead
wrecked.
in this grand finals.